A very good o'clock, dear students. Here I am Nikita ma'am, your geography teacher. Students, in this last video, we are going to discuss the topics which are left to be discussed are the factors of soil erosion and soil conservation. How can we prevent soil erosion? Okay. So, first of all, we'll discuss that what are the factors of soil erosion. Greatly, we have discussed the natural factors of soil erosion in the types of erosion we studied, that river and ocean and wind. How do they lead to the soil erosion? Okay, so other apart from them, means water and wind, there are some other factors responsible for soil erosion. Okay, first is deforestation. So with the increase in population, modernization and industrialization, we all know that deforestation is increasing on a very high rate because of the scarcity of residential land. When the population increases, we need more land to make settlements. Other things are that with the modernization, there's so many tools introduced, and then the usage of the forest products or the timber, you can say, which we obtain from the forest is increasing. That is why the rate of deforestation is increasing day by day. That causes a large damage to the soil, because this is a well-known fact that the roots of the trees grab or hold the soil very firmly, that it helps to prevent soil erosion on a major scale. Okay, and soil erosion easily takes place in the areas where there is no vegetation over the soil, because it becomes easy for the agents to erode the soil, because there is lack of any type of grip over the soil. Okay, so deforestation is the major cause of soil erosion, and the large scale damage to soil in Shivalik range, the coast of Punjab and and parts of Haryana, the ravines of Madhya Pradesh, ravines means barren land, and Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan are largely due to deforestation. Okay, second thing is overgrazing. Okay, so what is overgrazing? You know that the business of cattle rearing, or you can say dairy business, has grown up a lot since the days since till date, because we have become more usual of using the dairy products which are preserved. Okay, means they package food. Okay, so this takes a large scale of cattle rearing or farming. During the rainy season, there's a plenty of growth and the animals get enough fodder. Okay, during the rainy season, there's enough grass for the animals to be eaten, but during the long dry season, there's a shortage of fodder and the grass is grazed to the ground and torn out by the roots by animals. Okay, so when there's a dry season, then animals consume a lot of grass that is raised on the ground, and this leads to lose the structure of the soil, uh, because they eat the grass with the roots. Okay, so soil gets easily washed away by the rain. Soil erosion due to overgrazing is common sight in the hilly areas of Himachal Pradesh. Most of the cattle rearing, like sheep and goats, are reared on the hilly areas like Himachal Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, and dry areas of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, third is the faulty methods of agriculture. Okay, sometimes farmers do not know the best suited techniques to their land, so they use the faulty methods. Like, for example, plowing fields along the slope makes it easier for running water and wind to cause erosion. Along the slope, if we plow the field, then the soil becomes easily sliding down. Okay, it becomes easy to slide down the soil along the slope by the running water or wind, and it causes erosion. Shifting agriculture is also responsible for soil erosion, because forests are cleared for cultivation. Okay, and then once that soil is used, the land becomes infertile. But when again the land becomes fertile, because of lack of vegetation, that top layer of soil is washed away. Okay, So soil erosion is due to the shifting agriculture is also a major problem in the northeastern states, because these northeastern states are flooded with many types of tribes. Okay, so these tribes do practice shifting cultivation in present also. Now coming to soil conservation, how can we conserve the soil or preserve the soil? This includes all those measures which help in protecting the soil from erosion and exhaustion. What can be those measures which prevent the soil, and why do we need to conserve the soil? The point is क्यों हमें soil conservation करना है? There is no doubt in that the soil is the essential resource of sustainable agriculture. Okay, if the soil get washed over, all the top layer fertile soil, if it will be get eroded, then how will the future generation cultivate crops for themselves? So soil conservation is an important resource for sustainable agriculture. Soil conservation is required to meet the present and future needs of the population in terms of food, fiber, shelter. All these things, directly or indirectly, we get from the soil. So, for fulfilling these needs, it's important or it's required to preserve the soil. Okay, soil conservation is also required to avoid food crisis. Okay, if soil becomes barren for a short period, you see examples how many famines do occur, how many droughts do occur, which leads to a food shortage or food crisis. Okay, so in this condition it becomes very important that we conserve the soil. So protective soil alone ensures progress in agriculture, industrial development, economic betterment, and a higher standard of living. Agriculture is a primary sector, or it's a, you can say, raw material providing sector. That is why it is the base of all other secondary or tertiary sectors. Okay, because it provides raw material for the industrial sector, and hence it's very important to conserve the soil. Okay, for the betterment and higher standard of living. Next is we have soil act as a filter, cleaning air and water. It exchanges gases with atmosphere. It exchanges gases with atmosphere. So soil acts as a filter, clearing air and water, and it exchanges gases with the atmosphere and thus influences the global climate. Soil receives organic waste and recycles their nutrient back to the plants. It also holds and breaks down some toxic waste. Okay, soil is of a great use to the environment. Also, it exchanges gases with the atmosphere, means it absorbs nitrogen, and it also it releases methane sometime, and the global methane is a greenhouse gas. Okay, that helps us in maintaining the temperature of the environment. Soil receives the organic waste also, and it converts it into the humus for the plants. Okay, so it is an important agricultural resource. Now afforestation and reforestation, these are some ways in which we can reduce the soil erosion. Afforestation or reforestation means by replanting the trees or increasing the forest cover, whereas the process of planting new trees in areas where they have been removed by cutting or destroyed by fire and disease is called reforestation. Okay, means again planting trees in an area where trees were cleared is reforestation, and afforestation is new planting of trees. Okay, for the first time. So afforestation helps in soil conservation in the following ways: how the roots of trees and plants anchor and hold the soil together, so it's not easily removed by running water and wind. Okay, second point is the trees, plants, shrubs, and grasses reduce the speed of flowing water also, and allow the water to be absorbed by the soil. Okay, these also help as a barrier in the way of the flowing water, and this water is then absorbed by the soil, and soil erosion is also prevented. Okay, trees also reduce the force of strong winds and prevent the blowing away of soil particles. Okay, so this reduce the force of a strong wind and prevent the blowing away of soil particles. Second is restricted grazing of animals. So animals should be moved over different pastures so as to avoid erosion of soil. Means animals को सिर्फ एक ही pasture land पर grazing कराने की बजाय on a different pastures land पर शिफ्ट करते रहना चाहिए, सो दैट जो प्रीवियस पास्चर लैंड है उसको रिकवर होने का टाइम मिल जाए और उसमें इनफ फॉडर एंड क्रॉप्स जो हैं वो ग्रो हो पाए. ओके. Constructing dams, much of soil erosion is done by the flood. So to avoid flood, the dam should be constructed over the river. This checks the speed of water and helps saves the soil from erosion. Okay. Last is crop rotation. Proper farming techniques में हमने देखा crop rotation. If same crop is sown same field every year, this consumes certain nutrient from the soil, making it infertile. So crop rotation can check this type of erosion. Okay, अगर हम same type की crop को every year plant करते हैं तो it takes a certain or a particular type of nutrient from the soil that makes it infertile. Okay. So crop rotation means planting different kinds of crops over a year. It is a effective method to check this type of erosion. Now contour plowing it should be practiced. What is it? It involves the plowing along the outline of the field in a circular manner. This prevents the soil from being washed away by the running water. अगर हम circular manner पे एक boundary type की बना दें अपने field के around plow करके, तो that will preserve the soil from flooding out of the field. Okay. Checking and reducing shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation means agriculture by persuading the tribal people to switch over to the settled agriculture. अगर हम tribal people को persuade कर पाएं, convince कर पाएं that they must shift to the settled agriculture instead of the shifting agriculture. Terracing and contour bounding across the hill slopes. You must have studied about terrace farming. This type of farming is done on the hill slopes to prevent the soil erosion. What is done in these areas? That steps are cut from the mountains. छोटी छोटी and पतली पतली सीढ़ियाँ बनाई जाती हैं. So these were some techniques. Plowing in the land in a direction perpendicular to the wind direction also reduces wind velocity and protects the topsoil from erosion. Okay, so these were some techniques by which we can prevent the soil erosion. It will help conserve the soil, which is an important natural resource for the present and the future generation. Also, that's all, the chapter is finished. Do read these comparative studies given below. Thank you.